ultimate battle between the greatest warriors in all the world. Time is running out. GT. Grand Tour. Step into the Grand Tour. Dragon Ball GT. Step into the Grand Tour. Step into the Grand Tour. Dragon Ball GT.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of To Be Released, and we're here with a Really Watch. Starting it off right off the bat, hello everyone and welcome to the show within a show, a Really Watch. The greatest news happened in the world as of the last recording. It has finally been confirmed through V-Jump that LR Kid Goku will be LR Kid Goku and Aurelie, because it was following the path of the movies. So it was going Curse of the Blood Diamonds, something with a vampire that I can't remember, and then Mystical Adventure, which is the final movie.
Specifically the cover art of the movie.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was the cover art. So the SSR was the cover art of Blood Rupees, and the reason Krillin is in the SA is because he's on the poster. So they figured that's why people were like thinking that maybe once some people started putting up the posters. It's funny. I will say it's funny, the continuing nature of people in Dokkan who do not deserve Aurelie getting Aurelie, because it was always like it's clearly following this path, so it looks very likely that it's going to be Aurelie. I don't know. I think it might be Roshi at the end, and it's like, I don't. There's now evidence that says it's not going that way. I know that everyone thought it was going to be Roshi, Krillin, and Goku, but if Krillin was not on the name, there was no chance of him being there. Because I think when we get the Roshi LR, it will have all three names in it. It will start as, chances are, just Kid Goku and Krillin or something, or it'll be like the new trio we got. But yeah. LR Aurelie's coming in next month, the start of next month, I believe. And who knows, if the banner is not there, then Aurelie Watch will continue, because Aurelie Watch was set up specifically for when her her banner returned. And there was also a lot of misinformation, because people also thought that there was maybe an LR Krillin coming in, but it was actually the translation fucked up the TUR with Krillin in it. So people were one person tried to scare me and say, like, it looks like LR, Kid Goku, and Aurelie are a pullable unit, and I was like, oh god. Not like this.
No, not like this.
Haven't I suffered enough? So yeah, that's the Aurelie Watch update. So now we'll take it back to be released. I'll bring it back to regular Wookie. Thank you, Wookie. Hey Zen, how's it going?
Good. A lot of Dokkan stuff going on.
Yeah, Dokkan continues. It continues moving forward at an ever increasing.
Hasn't been
what?
Canceled.
No, not yet. Waiting
Still
for the
around.
day. Waiting for the day for it to be accused of something. Eventually, all of its shitty dealings in being a gacha will catch up to it, but not today.
Yeah, it's got a lot of skeletons in the closet. At some point, it's got to come out, right? Like,
at some point, eventually, you'll learn why Legends Team hates the Dokkan team so much.
So, speaking of Dokkan, apparently I've learned that people have been making memes of the CEO of Akatsuki, and the Dokkan Twitter is blocking.
They're blocking people who are making the memes?
The official Dokkan Twitter people for making memes that are making fun of the Akatsuki CEO.
Wow, what? Why are they making fun of him?
I don't know. Why not?
Because it's the internet.
Look at him.
All right,
yeah.
Fair enough. That is weird. That is strange. Maybe that's the first time. It's also, when you said the CEO of Akatsuki, I thought you said the leader, so I thought, I was like, is it Pain? Are people making Pain memes? That's weird. Everything about Dokkan is weird, by the way, including the development.
Pretty much.
Let's get into this weird stuff. So the first two up on the big boy are the two, they just keep pumping out these GTLRs as if they're saying, never ask us again for LRs of GT, because this is it. This is all you're getting.
Yeah, don't you ever fucking talk to me about GT again after this.
I think
because good God, it's like 5, isn't it? Total?
I really do think the only thing left is LR Shadow Dragons? Because there's no fucking way they're making LR Android Super Android 17, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's not. I don't.
No,
I say that shit, but I don't really know anymore. I guess.
that's fair. I, yeah, I don't know. Again, but I don't see. Until the celebration is over, I'll say once the 4 year is done, I don't expect a lot of GTLRs in the foreseeable future because they are giving out a lot, like a crazy amount, and it really does feel like they're just all dumping them now so they can say never again.
Yeah, never ever talk to me again.
Yeah, about the GTLRs. So let's talk about the first one. This is maybe of the two, he's not important in the sense of like I don't think he's better than them. I just think that his leader skill is something I want, and that is Baby LR. So technically his name is Baby, what is it? Baby Super Baby 2 Giant Ape, the ultimate wicked life form.
Yes. Something along those lines. Some bullshit about Baby Vegeta.
So, yeah, he's not the ultimate life form because everyone knows the ultimate life form is at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, and it's the giant slug monster. That's the ultimate life form.
The biohazard.
Yeah, the biohazard, that thing. the giant.
That's the ultimate life form.
That's
also Shadow, maybe, depending on the lore of the game in itself. Sometimes it's Shadow.
Okay, so there is the ultimate life form, which is Shadow the Hedgehog, and then there is the space ultimate life form, which is the biohazard that's up in space in Sonic Adventure 2. And then there's the ultimate wicked life form, which is Super Baby 2 ape form.
Who is the secret boss of Sonic Adventure 2?
Yes, because I would love nothing more than to watch Sonic and Shadow beat up on Baby Vegeta. That would be amazing. While Live and Learn is playing on in the background as you're fucking flying through space as Super Sonic. And then they go.
Hey,
then
Super Sonic is invincible, so I don't think Baby could win.
Do you think Super Sonic and Super Shadow would fuse like they do in GT, so you get Super? I was gonna say, what's the combination of Sonic and Shadow? But I feel like since both of them start with an S, it would kind of Sado, Shonic,
Sonda,
Sonda,
Shonic. It's Shonic. It's definitely Shonic.
100%, it's Shonic. So Super Shonic would take down Baby. That's how they would get it done. So his leader skill is Artificial Life Form, and then its category, they get 4 key, attack, defense, 130%. And then it's also, if they are extreme agility, they get 4 key and attack and defense 100% up. Attack, defense, and HP. His leader skill is basically just androids, but the big difference is that they have Aurelie in it. So this is the only reason why I wanted to pull Baby. It's because this is the only Aurelie finally got a category, and technically she's gonna be in 2 because the LR is gonna be in Seekers of the Dragon Balls. But if you want to run all the other 5 Aurelies that I own that are all rainbow, 2 are rainbow. You need this dumb motherfucker in your team. Because they don't have a 120% lead yet. God, I wish, though. I wish there was.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, yeah. I really hope in a perfect world that the physical Rayleigh Easy A is into the 120% lead, even though it doesn't make any sense for her to be that. Whatever.
It's possible.
Who knows?
It's not impossible. It could happen.
It could happen. And then his passive skill. This is a weird one. I had to literally go to the English translation because I was not about to try and say this gobbledygook off of Google Translate. But it's key plus 3, attack and defense 100% up. Plus, he gets 3 key and attack 50% up if there's a pure Saiyans on the enemy team. And then he also gets 3 key and attack 50% up if there's also a hybrid Saiyans. And then...
Fuck.
Yeah, and then if only if they're the enemy, and then he has a high chance to turn ape when his HP is below 40%. It used to be that it was 50% and there was a turn limit, but then they removed that. And then once he goes ape, he's the only ape that has a passive, and he gets +1 key for each key he grabs. Otherwise, it would be impossible to get 18 key with a fucking ape unit. And so, yeah, that's And then his link skills are Thirst for Conquest, Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses, GT, Hatred of the Saiyans, Shattering the Limit, and Legendary Power. So, first of all, I just want to mention the fact that the only good animation on him is his transformation to ape. Every other thing about him is just kind of weak. Like his animations are not the best, but only his like
Oh, they're so
transformation.
bad. Oh, I watched his super the other day. God, I hate him.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't know why the fuck they did this, but it's so weird. His 18 key is like 5 seconds long. And it's weird to see an LR. Like, this is the LR. This is the 18 key is usually the thing that takes a really long ass time to do. And it's like, no, he just kind of throws some shit.
Yeah, and it's weird because like part of me hates really long super attacks because I'm like, God Almighty, I've seen this a million times. I
Yeah,
don't like
it's
it.
you want a good length. You want either like you want a good 10 seconds, let's say. You don't want to watch an entire episode, but you also don't want to feel like this thing that is literally called LR. It's legendary in its name. You don't want its animation to be just nothing. Like otherwise,
Like a
it's like why?
shittier version of Oops, basically.
Yeah, and I will say right now, Oob is the best animation of all the GT LRs, and that's fucking weird. I don't know why Oob had the most effort put into him.
It is weird, isn't it? I mean,
The trio has some pretty cool stuff, but I will say again, I don't understand why Oob of all the characters, because he also has transformation, so he has the exact same things as Baby, but Baby for some reason has like not a lot of thought and care into his like animations. Except for his transformation. But then with Oob, it's like his transformation's awesome, his 12 key's awesome, his 18 key's awesome, and then when he transforms, his animations are awesome.
yeah, it's like everything that the card does good, but it's the card that is probably the last one I would have.
Yeah, the last one on the list that anyone would think, because again, people will defend Baby, people will defend the Super Saiyan Force to you. Nobody will defend Majub to you. Absolutely no one. It's
Yeah, I
so
can't think of a single person
no.
that would do that.
I would defend Papaya Man, which is basically Majub but in a costume, before I would defend Majub. Okay, so here's another thing about Baby's really fucking weird because he's so like if you're fighting a pure Saiyan and a hybrid Saiyan, he is crazy powerful. But then if you're not, he's still pretty powerful, but he's not like the for some reason they decided like only if you're fighting the Super Saiyan Blue Vegito stage, on that one stage Baby is a monster.
Vegeta and Trunks all at the same time.
Yeah. That's really the only stage I can think of, because someone, I think I was watching, I'm gonna guess it's D Free, because if I'm watching Dokkan, it's D Free. Shout out to D Free, go subscribe to his channel. Put a Krillin in the chat for D Free. The some Super Battle Roads don't have both a Saiyan and a half Saiyan in it, so not even there will you find them. Like some boss rushes don't even have that, so it's I understand his passive. It's one of those passives that's like it's built around his character, but at least not all of it is. At least he gets 3 key and attack and defense 100% up. At least there's that. And then if he runs into the other ones, he does extreme damage, but otherwise he's similar to the Super Saiyan 4s, except for without the active skill. And he's much more of a key battery for himself. But again, only against certain things. And then his actual team is fine, but it's also a team of like... So, this is why I hate categories in Dokkan, is that when there's a category lead, the first thing you think about is like... The first thing anyone will ever say, because the first thing when I saw this team was up, they immediately had the Extreme Turtles in it. And I was like, well... I guess if you can run this team with just extreme agility units, I guess it doesn't really matter. It turns out like the actual units in his category aren't the best, but then everyone else, like he gets help from the fact that he has a second leader skill that's not the category to make his team better. Otherwise, his team would be kind of shit. Zen?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I was just listening to you go.
Okay, my bad.
So
Uh,
far, I was in pure agreement, mostly because I just don't even.
yeah. And he's not the only leader like this, so I'm not going to put all the weight on Baby's shoulders, but it's something Dokkan does that really annoys me.
Look at his shoulder armor, man. They can handle it.
All right, Baby, you're going to brunt the full weight of this shit because it's really
Look at that
annoying.
stupid gold shoulder armor.
Yeah, again, I think we've talked about this before. The design of Baby and the backstory of Baby, we just do not like at all. There's nothing
I think the backstory has
merit.
it's okay. Yeah, like I don't hate the backstory or whatever, but everything else is just the worst.
Yeah, he's kind of the worst of a lot of things. I don't know. I just remember when I got up to Baby when I was watching GT, and a lot of people would always say like, "Oh, the Baby stuff is great." When I got to Baby, I did not get that. I did not feel anything when I got to Baby. So maybe it was a lot of people like trying to be like, "Oh no, GT, it has its ups and downs, but Baby is great." But then when I got to Baby, he wasn't the savior that I was led to believe.
So you think that Baby is like the silver lining for people?
I
Like
think
they're trying to make him something better than he is?
I think so. I think he's something that when they were watching GT, he was a bright light of what could have been the ultimate form of GT. Because I can understand that. I can understand watching a show and then finding a character that is like, it's like, wow. Like, especially compared to the villains that they had been fighting in GT up until that point. Like, they just got finished dealing with, like, some fucking pedophile and a bunch of robot men. And said, here comes Baby as who has an actually cool power of, like, taking over people. It's similar to, like, it's like Garlic Jr., but with an actual focus. His power of turning people evil.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, I mean, and you're right because his art comes right after the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah,
It's like
so
Dr. Mew and the metal
Dr. Lude.
Rildo.
Dr. Lude.
Dr. Lude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
followed by garbage.
Yeah. So
like
yeah.
I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, this is again. He did not work for me for whatever reason, and I don't fault people for putting the world on his giant ass shoulders so he could bear the weight of everything. But let's see. You know what? Now that we've talked a little bit about this big boy, let's see where he fits on the scale. I feel like, I think we've got what we can out of Baby. What are you feeling right now?
3 big.
And then
it's a GT unit, so he goes down
to 1. I'm conflicted because I feel like the Aurelie factor that he came in and was the leader, the shining force that gave Aurelie a category, is making me like him more than I really should. But then also he didn't come in my summons, so that's a big factor of him going down.
So he possible and then snatched it away.
Yes, much like the hope of GT that I had, he came in and snatched it away from me. I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna give him a 2, but then the GT bonus and the Aurelie bonus cancel each other out, so he stays at 2.
So he stays at 2.
He stays at a 2 for me. If I had pulled him, then there would be no contest about where he went. Let me tell you, you can bribe the judges in Dokkan, by the way. Dokkan, if you're listening.
100% you can.
You can bribe us. Yes. All right. Let's go on to the other LR, which I feel like if there was a second, if I would put a rating into the cool factor of the GT LRs, these guys would be the second. It's the LR trio, which is Pan, Trunks, and Kid Goku GT. And their leader skill is the Seeker of the Dragon Balls, categories 4 key, attack defense, HP attack and defense 170% up, and then if they're super int, they get 100% attack defense HP and 4 key. Their passive skill is attack and defense 77% up when performing a super attack, plus an additional attack 77% when performing an ultra super attack, key +1 per Seekers of the Dragon Ball category ally on the team. And then
that's a lot of words.
Yeah, it is. That's why I changed it. That's why I'm not using Google Translate for this. And their name is an ongoing adventure. So, to sum up, for anyone who has not seen this unit, they made the opening of GT a unit.
Yeah, that's like their super.
Yeah, that's their super, but also like the set their art is straight up from the end. The is from a scene from inside the opening. Um, I want to say they're
That's cool.
yeah. In terms of like, this is the kind of LR I can get behind. You know, there's sometimes when they do LRs, the concept is, oh, it's just the character's best moment, or it's an amalgamation of all the moments that they had, like Super Saiyan Goku. But straight up saying, like, no, this OP is really good, which I will give a lot of shit to Dragon Ball GT. I will not shit on its opening. That opening is fantastic, and it took me a really long time to come to terms with that, with the idea that, no, actually, this opening is actually very good.
Positive could come from G.
Yes. Every episode of GT would end, and I would go like, oh, wait, this theme song's about to come on, though, and everything's about to get way better.
So you watched it for the ending more so.
A little bit. I feel like that is, you know what? A good anime can be an anime can be saved if the opening is bumping. That's what I feel.
Yeah, speaking of an anime that can be saved, the opening is bumping, is that first man, I almost watched that show. It was so good.
First opening for what? Say it again.
For
Boruto?
that, for the OP1 for was pretty. I came very close to actually watching that program before I came to my senses. I was wooed by the music.
Yeah, I mean, the opening is supposed to be like the eye catcher. It's like, oh, it's why a lot of people, you know, Cowboy Bebop is a fantastic show. A lot of people will go like, that opening is fucking sick, though.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
that
true.
Opening is like a legend.
Yeah, in terms of anime legendary openings, it's the Cowboy Bebop, and then
there are so many. The right word, but there's so many remakes of that out there.
Yeah. And so when you tell me that you're going to take the opening to GT and make it a unit, I'm like, hell yeah. And then here's another thing that I like, that I think they might have done this accidentally, is that the free LR is Kid Goku, who is also Seekers of the Dragon Ball, and the GT is also Seekers of the Dragon Ball. And when GT started, which I think is something that I wish they kind of had focused on more than what the direction they eventually went in, which is going more Z. But there was an actual heavy emphasis on kind of like the original stuff of Dragon Ball, of actually looking for the Dragon Balls. So while I think that the LR lead for Seekers of the Dragon Ball should be Dragon Ball, because like literally, they started this shit, so they should be the one leading it. I'm not too hung up over the fact that, like, yeah, no, GT was also kind of about that. It's just that at some point they decided to also try and do the Z stuff. And Z...
Well, I think that early GT, technically, GT peaked early. Mm-hmm. It was like episode 2. And then it was a steady decrease all the way down through...
yeah,
the end of the series, basically. It never went up, basically, is what
you're saying.
Right. But I the ratings, because they still weren't good. They were never at a point where anyone was like, oh my god, GT is like killing it. I think they saw that and they were like, people Dragon Ball, and then they did Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying there, is basically that they started off kind of more in the Dragon Ball direction, but then they saw the dip, so they were like, we need to go back to what people have come to expect from DBZ.
It felt like when we started, the shit was stupid and weird, but it felt kind of like they were trying to, that was like kind of more in the spirit of what Dragon Ball was. And then they realized that nobody fucking liked that shit, so they were like, well, let's just make Dragon Balls. And then nobody liked that shit either, so out of fucking luck, I guess. But
yeah, I really do feel like the number one thing that is a problem, again, now we're just talking about GT, but whatever, this relates to the unit, and this kind of goes to this, is that which is the difference from Super, which Super also has a lot of troubles, but the one thing that I like that they do is that they acknowledge the fact that, we kind of fucked up and these characters are extremely overpowered. When GT opens its first like tiny arc where they're like finding Giru and Goku's fucking sneaking around for some reason. And I'm just like watching it going like, Goku, you're super fucking strong. You don't need to do any of this.
Well, didn't they also pull some shit where they were like, oh my god, Metal Rildo is like several times stronger than... It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's just a robot, man.
Yeah, they do that later, and I think at least Rildo, they tried to say like, oh, this guy's powerful from the start. But Goku in the beginning of GT is holding back on dudes he should not be holding back on. It's like, you guys obviously need this ship. The Earth is in danger. Just go straight up Super Saiyan 3, fuck all these dude shits, and we'll be done here.
And just deal with it. Yeah, just get it done.
Which is something...
That whole thing about the shadowed, like, Black Star Dragons or whatever, from the jump.
Like, from the space-toting dragons?
Yeah, well, because they're like, you gotta Dragon Balls for making wishes too much. A really cool idea
of GT for you is that it has like a basic of an idea and then it just kind of fucks up.
Yeah, concept is there, and I'm like, oh hey, that's pretty badass. And then I actually, oh no.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. And so one final thing about this, another thing about this unit is that it has the same problems as Baby, as its team is a lot of like, you want to use the goat. Well, to be fair to them, at least there are still some members that are in Seekers of the Dragon Ball that you would use that. So like the Gohan, the Super Int Gohan, he's a part of Super Seekers of the Dragon Ball. I forgot about that. I thought he was in there because he was Super Int, but it's not. He actually is legitimately in that category. But Seekers of the Dragon Ball is a weird category because it's all over the place. Up until this unit, Seekers of the Dragon Ball was the Ginyu Force.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, and it's... Now this team is weird because you also want to use, like, the LR Yamcha, and then there's LR Pan, and it's a lot of weird, like, amalgamations of free-to-play units. Like the new LR Kid Goku and Aurelie, which is going to be the, I guess, a tiny leader to them, which is why I'm glad that they're as good as they are, because now I have a team to go with my Aurelie team. But yeah, I don't know. Something about this unit, when that special attack came out, and it was literally like, if you have not seen it, it literally does the opening of GT up until, like, they even end it with like everyone's on the screen, and then Giru comes in, and Goku holds on to Giru, and it's like, wow, holy shit.
This is the best part of the card, for sure.
It is 100% the best part of the card. And it's, I think they did a good job with this one. I think it's like, that's the thing of like what I wished kind of like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Vegeta, and Baby had, is just that this feels like there was actually legit love and care put into it. And I just don't see that when I see the other LRs. Except for Maju, but it's these two units. Like on the love scale, this one is high, and then the other one, it feels like, well, people want this. And that's 100% what they gave. So, with all that said, all that talk about the LR, what are you feeling about these dudes? I will say, it does have Pan and Giru in it, which technically would negate the negative GT effects.
Okay. I'm going 4 out of 5. Very close to a 5 out of 5 from a GT unit that isn't just dabbing gear.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go the same way too, because this unit, if you just saw this unit and you had never seen GT, this would make you hyped to see GT. I feel like that's the kind of impression I get from this unit. Like, I feel like it's the perfect... It's, in my own personal view, which is my view and my view only, it's an LR that GT does not deserve.
Yeah, no, I'm backing you on that one.
But it is a fantastic one that GT has been given. It is a gift. It is a gift, especially after all the other LRs with their animations. And I cannot stress enough the fact that they're also very good units. Baby is also a good unit. So I think this is just an all-around win for GT LRs. In terms of, like, in animation, they lose, but in terms of being good, they win. So it's like
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes.
I don't think Baby is as good as like the Super Saiyan 4s.
No.
Because those guys are pretty busted. But
Yeah.
the Super Saiyan 4s are the best characters in the game, straight up. Like, I don't give a shit if people think Goku and Frieza are better because they're not. So,
which is the thing that will always go back and forth. I feel it's a weird thing, but
yeah, GT definitely. GT fans got to eat this anniversary.
No, the 4-year has been very, very good to GT fans. I will say it feels
all
it's
7 of them,
all 7 of them out there. So basically, just Mai and Jinta, the 2 GT fans that I know.
Yep, and Victor Perez. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
There you go.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Fucking loves GT. Yeah,
those 3 dudes. Great.
Those 3 dudes are thrilled, and everyone else is just.
Well, and also we did get to number 1, so there's that. All those other people that are crazy, but that's also a thing of like, well, these units are also good. You should pull for them. Like even if they're not the greatest thing, they're not the characters you like. They're good. You're
right.
Pull for them. And I tried pulling for them, and I'm sorry, Aurelia, you're gonna have to work on free to play teams for the time being until I can one day eventually catch these motherfuckers. So yeah, one day. So to do a sum up, we got Baby, who if we combine my 3 and your 1 is around a 2. Is a 2 out of 5 big boy. And then we have the new trio, which is Pan, Goku. I wish there was a better name for them. Let's just call them the GT opening. The GT opening has a
LR GT opening theme.
Yeah, LR GT opening theme. LR Dan gets a 4 out of 5.
Yes, exactly.
Gets a 4 out of 5 from us. And with that, we're going to get ready to go on to questions. I should also say right now, before we get into questions, I'm going to apologize for my bad internet, because that is 100% the reason why Zen sounds bad. A lot of people have suggested doing like, oh, you should make him record his thing and then you can put it together. I can do that. If we do that, these things take longer to take out. That's the rub. I get these uploaded very fast, and that's because I'm able to just like record, and then we go like, well, whatever Zen's saying, I get the basic gist of it, and you guys should be able to understand it as well. But again, I will always apologize for the bad internet when it's super bad. So there's that. Let's go on to some questions. How's that sound, Zen?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Let's start with this one because I feel it's a good starting off point, and we get it all the time. Are there any plans of bringing back the Dokkan Battle modcast?
No.
This is the new form. This is basically the Super Saiyan 3 at this point version of modcast.
Oh man, that means that to be released is technically modcast.
Well, actually, let's look into it. Modcast. There's Modcast.
I guess this would be Modcast Z.
Yeah, Modcast Z would be the right way of phrasing it. Because it is, with the big boy scale, it's completely different. Like, in terms of, like, because Modcast was always a thing about, like, it's also news, and then occasionally we did questions, but it was also a lot of, like, just, like, fucking around. And this one, we have a clear goal of putting these dudes up on the big boy scale.
And fucking around.
Yes. Which is very important to the overall scores. But yeah, and to be fair to this person who put that, he did not know that we had switched over to my channel because my channel is much smaller than the Dokkan Reddit one. But when you start over, it's our climb back up. One day we will get back to the heights that were the around 2,000 views or something. We'll get there one day. Yeah.
One of these days.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Thank you for the question, and that came from the Great Ace. The Great Ace? The Great Ace? I want to say Great Ape, but it's not. It's not Great Ape. Next question comes in from Sky the Fox, and she asks pros and cons of gacha games in general, and why some gacha games just absolutely suck compared to the others when they're by the same company. Uh, First, the pros and cons. Pro. It's very hard to think of pros for gacha games. They're fun sometimes.
So pros for gacha games would generally be the same form of mobile game, the convenience, and also because of those factors, they tend to have very like it's very to get into like Dragon Ball Legends or Dokkan because anybody. Whereas you have something like, oh, you want to get into a Jump 40 where you have only people that get the game day one can participate in that kind of. Whereas something like fucking let's see what that shit's all about. So accessibility is a big one. The business model is certainly a con.
Definitely.
It's definitely a predatory business. Anyone disputes. Occasionally, you get the person. If you get addicted, it's your fault. But like that's not how the world works. So, fuck that guy.
Always fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. But yeah, most people understand that it's a predatory business model. It's also where to go unless there is government oversight, pretty much. Game companies aren't going to go, well, let's get more work for less money. How about that? So it's where it's going. But yeah, pros, accessible, convenient. A lot of them are really good shitting games. You got a bad shit and you need to do something. Dokkan's great.
Yeah, Dokkan's great for that. Can confirm.
Great shitting game.
And in terms of why some suck compared to others, it's when it's by the same company, it's because it's different dev teams. So
yeah, so I mean, you can look at something like Dokkan being both Bandai, and technically they are. I don't know if Dokkan and Legends was attempting to be made. I can't think of many other company because I don't play a whole lot of the same ones that the Asker play. Like I don't play Fate. I don't know.
Yeah, to Fate is that's the only mobile game that those people have made. It's Fate Grand Order.
Okay, then yeah. So, but then you have it's a different dev team. Changes like between gachas. I mean, there's stuff like I'm talking even predating Dokkan, stuff like Brave Frontier. They never really had like, oh, guaranteed SS. You could get the cards guaranteed if you spent your ass, But they never really had stuff where they went out of their way to constantly do quality of life things like weekly, or they gave you guaranteed stuff every time and that kind of thing. But games coming out nowadays, if you don't have that kind of stuff, it is more established in their shitty to be basically that if you're older and you're shit, but you're about the same shit as everyone around, even though new, much better stuff is coming, people they know.
Yeah, I feel it's a basic summary of that. Thank you for the question, Sky. Next person, this one comes from Jordan, and we'll do a quick thing on this just because we're gonna cover this eventually. But they asked final thoughts on Jump Force if you played it. I've been joining it a lot, and if so, what's your main team? Mine is Seiya, Ichigo, and Yugi. We will eventually do a illegal gaming chop shop. Yeah, we just haven't had time just because of the way schedules worked, and sometimes something fucked over on my side, and we just couldn't record it. They'll go more into detail. Sen is the only one who's played it, so I'll let him give his thoughts and say his team.
Is fun. Looks like shit, runs like shit. All the cutscenes are shit. The models are shit. But the actual gameplay, pretty. And my team is Jotaro, Ruki,
Say it again. Jotaro, Rukia, and who?
Yugi.
Oh, Yugi. Okay. All right. Thank you for the question. Um, Arcana asks, this is another question that comes from Arcana. It says, what recent gotcha games has gotten your attention, and would you recommend it to each other? In terms of my most recent gotcha game, it was Legends, and Zen is the one who told me to play it. So I haven't been.
So yes, you would.
Yeah, I would. I would tell you to go play it. It's fantastic. I was able to get back into it after not enjoying it the first time. I don't really go out looking for many gotcha games unless for some reason I feel like I need to. But usually I'm pretty happy with what I have. I'm not like one of those people who are like, I need to move on to something else. I can usually stick, which is why I'm still playing Dragalia. One of the 7 people who still continue to play Dragalia is
That's a
because
generous estimate.
one of 4 people who continue to play Dragalia. Whatever, it's all, I play plenty of co-op with people. There's enough people playing Dragalia, just that nobody wants to talk about Dragalia because it's usually all the same. And the stuff they add is not something that will get people back into it. Like, I like the fact that they're adding a new form of raid battles that will give me better weapons, because it fucking sucks grinding up weapons. But that's not going to be enough to bring people back.
Dragalia has like the ore collection thing going on, where it came out fucking sick, and then it sucked,
Yeah.
and then they didn't do anything, and everyone left. They were like, all right, let's try to make the game gooder now so that people will play. But then when someone quits your game, you have to get that person.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get a person back, and that's why I feel like maybe that's why I'm still sticking with Dragalia, is because I feel like it will eventually reach that. It just hasn't reached it yet. It's doing a lot of growing pains in front of my eyes, but I think hopefully, similar to Ore Collection, once it hits close to the first year, maybe it will get a little bit easier to play, because as it is right now, it's a lot of commitment, and not a lot of people have that kind of commitment for a game that requires just so much constant grinding. And apparently it's a baby compared to what it was based off of. So,
Grand Blue or whatever.
Yeah. Grand Blue is apparently way worse in its grinding, and I'm going, that's insane. No, thank you. What is your most recent gotcha game that's gotten your attention, Zen?
Of the ones that I still play.
Say it again.
Of the games that I currently still play, it would be JoJo's Patter Pop.
Oh, okay.
Shit's great. Everybody play.
Everyone play Patter Pop. All right. I think that works. Thank you for the question, Arcana. We'll go to the next question, which comes from Mystic, the Mystic Super Saiyan, and he asks, your house is on fire. 2 boxes are being engulfed in flames. 1 box contains $50 in the Egyptian god cards, and the other has wood remains. You can only save one. Who are you saving? And the answer will always be wood remains, because wood remains would have saved me.
Would never have left us behind.
Yeah. If anything, when we're trying to save him, wood remains will tell us to get the other box. He'd be like, you need the money.
I feel like the god cards would be haughty. Like if we were in the boxes, the god cards would be like, fuck you. I don't have to do any of that shit. I'm a god. But Wood Remains is grounded. He's a bro.
He's a bro. He's a bro through and through, and Obelisk would totally watch us burn. And he would say, I am the 100%. Tormentor. And Ra requires, we don't even speak the same language, so I can't even talk to Ra half the time. I don't speak ancient Egyptian, so it's a real detriment. But yeah, Wood Remains. Thank you for the question. This next question, which is funny because this person actually asked it in the comments of To Be Released, which I asked, you can do that. And just to be sure, he also asked it here, so I'll say this question comes from Big Bunye, and he asks, when do you think Dokkan might die? Year 5 or above? And then it says your favorite LR. To answer that first question, you do have to realize that I'm at the mindset that the only thing that could kill Dokkan is gacha laws changing. That's the only thing that will legitimately kill Dokkan.
I agree. I think that so gacha gaming is sort of like atmosphere of it.
Mm-hmm.
and that has shifted from the time that Dokkan first got started. When Dokkan first got started, gacha games generally have life to them, where and you just kind of accept probably in a couple years,
They'll go away.
or at least no one's gonna like. I think Brave Frontier time, but as far as having a solid player base that was like an active community, it really didn't last. In terms of like Dokkan's on going on public perception, very different than it used to. They're no longer like they're like pretty widely accepted. I think Dokkan had a lot to do with that, for better or worse.
Yeah.
You look at, especially in the American market, you look up like gaming, and you have the crush, that kind of stuff. Dokkan Battle, for better or for worse. I'm not quality and whether it deserves it is the one. It anything saying this off. I don't think it's the same type of here's the right word, but the same type of it's a gotcha for your a gotcha game can being spent on it now. That's just for saying Goku's 600.
Zen, are you there?
I'm
Okay.
still there.
Okay. I wasn't sure the internet connection got really bad there, but
Oh,
your basic point is that Dokkan is here and has established itself like when in a time when it first launched, gacha games were not really an established thing, and that we kind of are. Regardless if you think Dokkan deserves that, it is that. And now we're in a 4-year thing where finally gacha things are starting to catch up to like mainstream people. That so there might actually be, and it's a lot of the reason why is not because of Dokkan, it's because of loot boxes and stuff like that. So those kind of things have kind of come in, and that's kind of what Dokkan traded in. And Dokkan like showed that like, yo, there's a lot of money to be made in gachas if you just keep going at it. And eventually, it's gonna get to the point where something is gonna come down, and something in Dokkan will change. Like Dokkan isn't available in what the fuck is that country? I don't remember. It's Belgium. It's not available in Belgium, and that's like the first shot. So that's really the only thing I could see ever taking down Dokkan is that the laws change. Because once the laws change, I don't know what's up.
On the topic of the, I still see people on Twitter saying, "Oh, they put the coins down gambling laws." That does not do that. It does not get around any sort of gambling provision. It's not doing that.
No, not even close. So yeah, that's really what I think will take Dokkan to die. Because as it is right now, we literally just went number 1 with a baby LR and a trio of the Dan trio. So it's like, as long as Dokkan keeps making stuff, it will hit number 1. That's
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of comes back to what we were talking about earlier with the pros and cons of gacha and the accessibility and ease of community.
Mm-hmm.
Is that for a lot of people who play Dokkan, they've been playing it for a long time and they have legitimate friendships or a sense of community from people that play this game with them. And so you have the big YouTubers who play it and their viewers and play together, or the Reddit people, or a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's that people who say Dokkan is absolute garbage and just the piece of shit still fucking play it,
Yep.
because it's a part of the.
It's just a part of me now. Like, people say like, oh, why do you continue playing Dokkan and talking about Dokkan? We've had people question of like, you guys are so negative towards Dokkan. Why do you guys talk about Dokkan? And the answer is that I still do like talking about Dokkan and talking to other people who understand our kind of mindset of like, we've been here a very long time. Like, crazy long time. Longer than really anyone should stay. And after a certain point, you just want the game to be good. And I will, when Dokkan does good, I always like it when it's in an anniversary because they give me. I was able to get like close to 600 stones, but that is only possible when there's an anniversary going on.
Right.
So every time people go like, I don't understand, the game's so good right now, and it's like, motherfucker, you're only here for the anniversary, and then you leave, and then I stay, and then
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird to see people talk about, oh, we're going to calculate how many free stones that Dokkan gives over whatever period of time. And that's fine and all, but they never really like divide out where or when those came from.
Mhm.
So these lists that look really good, but then you realize that the vast majority of that came from like a 3-week period.
Yeah.
And all the rest of the time you're like, well, what the fuck? What is anything?
When does it come in? And it's very hard to know. So I don't know, dude. Dokkan is here for now until literally everything changes. And because again, I'll say when the day death comes for Dokkan, everyone will know. It will be very clear when Dokkan will be dying, because we will all see the writing in the wall. Because literally, there's no. It's the classic Jesse Pinkman line. They can't keep getting away with it. Dokkan has been getting away with what they do, but eventually shit will just catch up to them, and that will catch up to them before people stop playing, because people will continue to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that people are like, fuck this, I'm done. It's 100% going to be something happens that impacts it to remain.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I really think, the law man come in or anything like that. But it's gonna take something.
Yeah, we'll see. And for the second part of the question, my favorite LR is obviously Kid Goku and Aurelie. That's just good. That's not out yet, but guess what? Number 1. What do you feel? What's your favorite LR?
Or Goku.
Say it again.
Goku and Frieza.
Oh, Goku and Frieza. Yeah, that was also a very good card. I will also say now, just because we're on the topic of favorite LR, we got a lot of questions, and I want to thank everyone who sent it in about my specific reaction of LR Kid Goku and Aurelie. I think it's obvious that the answer is fucking awesome. I'm glad 4 years in. We had one person write in saying, how does it feel? How do you feel that Krillin did not get an LR before and Aurelie did? And I will say that there are a bunch of LRs that have been LR before Krillin that did not deserve to be there before Krillin.
Yeah, Aurelie is not the first one.
No. And also, I will always say this, you motherfuckers need to remember, you would not have Dragon Ball if it was not for Dr. Slump. So don't you be telling me that
don't disrespect.
Don't you be coming here talking that jive shit. You would not have your fucking Monkey Man if he was not for the little girl. So she deserves LR. But dudes like, and again, people like them, but I also don't see why they would do it before Krillin, who has been in such a big factor with Goku and everything, like his best friend and everything. We got LR Bojack, we got LR Yamcha, we got LR Broly before Krillin. We got a lot of dudes who were like, I don't understand why this would be an LR.
The Metal Cooler Army that's in one scene of his movie.
Yeah, LR Majub, LR Ginyu Force, LR Ginyu Force with Goku's body on them. Like, where the fuck have you been? There's been a lot of LRs that have got an LR before Krillin, and it's unfortunate. I would love it if Krillin got an LR.
I would say a decent amount of those are less deserving than Aurelie.
Yeah, I would say the same thing too. Like, if you were to put into But I think the way Dokkan sees it is that important, and I'll also throw in Tien and Chaozu. That doesn't make sense why they got an LR before Krillin. Dokkan sees things differently. They don't see importance of history as a reason to make a hype LR card. They see that people really like these dudes, so we're gonna make an LR. And then sometimes they go, "This is a really weird thing to make an LR, so we're gonna make it an LR." And that's just kind of the way they do things. I don't really control. If I controlled it, Krillin would have already had an LR. But the good thing now is that if they keep waiting, eventually the LR Krillin will be really good.
One of these days, yeah. That's the plus side for waiting a really long time for your is at some point when the unit finally comes out, it's gonna be pretty fucking sick.
Exactly. And poor LR Gohan, because he now has maybe one of the worst LR animations out there.
Oh, he has the worst LR animation. He has one of the worst animations of a unit released since the LR era started.
Yeah, it's they've gotten better at making people walk, but I also want to bring out the fact that STR Aurelie had a better walk animation, and she runs in her animation. They did not give the same treatment to Gohan. So yeah, I think it's better if they wait. I'll eventually Krillin will get his day in the sun, and that will be the day that you'll know, because D3 will explode from pure joy. You'll just hear a very loud yo that will literally break the sound barrier like Super Boo did when he escaped the time chamber. It will be that strong of a yo that you'll hear throughout the entire world.
Yeah, although I didn't hear any world-shattering yos when Krillin got buffed, which I was surprised about because he did finally get his buff. It's just not that great.
It's not the great. I mean, it's good. To be fair, I saw the GIF of the guy which I thought for a second that D3 had just put a GIF of a man jacking off onto my timeline, and I thought like, what is this, Coley? But no, it wasn't. It was he put a man was with a hose, and the hose went everywhere, and I was like, all right, this means that the man is pleased.
Yes, he is ecstatic.
He is very ecstatic. He's also drained though because of Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It's like he doesn't have it in him anymore.
Oh, that's true. That's got to be...
Yeah. Rip to everyone who tried their best to pull Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and he only showed up after an extremely long periods of time. Like D3 and also Talon, who eventually finally got his Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But only
did he?
Yeah, it took a very long time, but he did get him eventually.
Thank God. These people are my friends. It was like watching my friends die.
Yeah, it was very sad. Again, if the see their dual summons for a very sad, the one on D3. Watch the entire D3 Despair arc to see why I was hesitant to continue buying stones after I failed to get baby, because that is the ultimate reason why I was like, no, fuck this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be this. But of course, it's their money. They can do whatever the hell they want. Don't you dare try and come at them for anything. All right. I think we're good with questions. Again, we didn't answer a lot of people. A lot of people asked us questions about pickles and pizza, but we don't got time for that. I want to thank everyone who did sending us a question for sending them in. And also one Johan who continues to beat the drum that in Goku Black is a very beautiful boy. We will not fight Goku Black on his prettiness. You'll not find that.
I would never judge a lady's looks.
Exactly. Never gonna happen. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us for To Be Released. I'm Wokey, and I've been here with Zenrot. Why don't you say goodbye, Zenrot? I don't know how to end the show.
Bye, everybody. I like how the ending of the show is what used to be the opening. We can't... It's Wokey, and I'm here with Zenrot. It's just part of who you are.
It's really just like a part of my being. I feel like I need to say it every single time or it doesn't count. Otherwise, I'm not going to be sure that anyone knows who's here. Anyway, goodbye, everyone.